A second to refresh. I don't want to get rolling into things.
Should
Oh,
almost, I assume.
without it. Yeah. Let's see.
Yep, no longer hosting.
Awesome. Okay. And it looks like we are all set. I'm just gonna let the page refresh here. Maybe. Okay. All right, and we are live for another runner spotlight for Midwest Speedfest 2019. I am your host tonight, Newt, and I am joined by V Input Output. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am not too bad. I'm doing quite all right. I had an awesome dinner. I made some split pea soup, and you said you had some
Oh,
bean
no.
burritos for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yum.
Bean enchiladas.
Bean
Even better.
enchiladas. That's right. Yum. Delicious. That makes me
I'm so
happy.
full now, though. Oh.
I get that. It's a big mood. Anyway, yeah. So welcome to the Midwest Speedfest Runner Spotlight. Glad you could join me tonight. You are now here. You are from around the Rochester area, New York, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a little
Okay.
ways south in a little town called Penyan.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. My biggest question for tonight, then the big thing is why would you come to Midwest Speedfest? What got you interested in coming to this event?
There's a couple reasons. So I've been mutuals with Sex Rex who kind of runs the thing, or at
Okay.
least in
Yeah.
part, for a little while. So I heard about it through him, and because I have a few local friends in Minneapolis that I want to see. So
Oh,
really
nice.
excited for that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So it's becoming a little bit of um a journey for you to come over and
Oh
a
yeah.
vacation, maybe hang out with some people, hang out at 2DCon, all of that. Oh,
It's very fun.
this
I'm used to the trip to Minneapolis too, what with SGDQ and all.
yeah.
So yeah, it works out.
Okay, nice. That's good. Yeah, it's SGDQ. I've met you at SGDQ a couple of times.
I think we've bumped into each other at least a couple times.
A couple times. These past couple of years, I've been hanging around Konosumi a lot.
Pretty cool, dude.
Yes, definitely. A lot of mutual speed friends, without a
Oh,
doubt. Yeah. So, I guess starting off here, why don't you tell me a little bit about your speedrunning history? What got you into speedrunning in the first place, and sort of put you on this journey to get where you are now?
Okay. It definitely took a while for me to get into because I heard about speedrunning way back in like 2012 or 13 when I was still in high school,
Yeah.
and I learned about Legend of Zelda speedruns, Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I figured it was all like way above my head, nothing I could ever actually try and do. A few years later, I found out about GDQ, so I started watching that.
Okay.
And then a couple years after that, I finally realized, hey, I can try this. It's probably not too bad. So my first game was Super Mario 64, and I
Okay.
learned 16 star for that.
Nice.
And then after that, I got into indie games, and I haven't gone back.
Yeah, I get the feeling there. Interesting that you got started with Zelda speedruns first. I think a lot of people, a lot of people these days, their introduction to speedrunning was by seeing the first couple years of GDQ VODs show up.
I definitely get that vibe.
Mm-hmm. I think the first speedrun that I actually saw on YouTube was Runner Guy's Ocarina of Time run from, I think that was SGDQ 2012? Or was that 13?
Yeah, 12 or 13.
12 or 13.
I remember that, yeah. Going back to watch it after the fact.
Yeah. Was it 100% or all dungeons?
I
can't remember off the top of my head.
100%?
I'm thinking it was 100%. Yeah, so very nice.
To clarify a little bit, it was strange because at first I just wanted to look up like video game glitches, and then I found ZeldaSpeedruns.com and like found all those glitches and didn't really apply it to the concept of like playing a game super fast.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose it had a lot of glitch exhibition stuff on, or just a bunch of different glitches.
In that game specifically, there's just a ton.
There
That's
is.
Doesn't help you go fast, but it's really fascinating.
It is super fascinating. Interesting. Huh. That's a route into speedrunning that I haven't heard from anybody else yet. That's cool. So you ran some 16-star, but then you got into indie games, and that's sort of what you've been doing a lot of lately over the past few years. You want to talk about some of the indie games that you've maybe put a bit more time into?
Yeah, of course. The first two that I actually learned, some people watching may have played Limbo and Inside. They're created by Playdead Games. Their lead developer at the time, Jeppe Carlsen, he's done a couple of solo projects. 140 and Thaw are the names of the two that he's released so far. I started with those two, then I expanded to Limbo.
Okay.
And then went from there. And I still have a huge love for both of those games. They're both 2D, super minimalistic. One's a platformer and one's a shooter, a 2D shooter.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a couple of your Limbo runs, and that's really, really cool. And then, are there any other notable indie games that you've run? Other than, of course, V and Soft Body.
Pretty much every game I've picked up, besides V6, has been kind of a solo project that I kind of found out about, and no one else that I could find was really running it at the time, so I wanted to pick it up. Or like one or two people maybe had an interest in it as well.
Yeah.
Soft Body was definitely one of those. Also, a game called Tumbleseed, which is a roguelike where you roll a seed up a mountain. And my latest kind of project that I kind of fell apart on and want to pick up again is Ruby and Majesty.
Oh, okay.
Indie game, solo project.
Interesting. Very nice. I get falling into indie games. It can be a lot of fun. I started out speedrunning the Fancy Pants Flash games back in the day, but since then have got into a bunch of other indie games.
Right.
It is a lot of fun.
It's a very unique dynamic, kind of working either by yourself or again with a really small group.
Yeah, exactly.
Just figuring everything out for yourself, not having like a wiki to go to
yeah,
find
exactly.
all the pitches and stuff.
That's what's really interesting about indie games is, well, maybe this is more true a few years ago when, speedrunning wasn't as big as it is now, but it was really interesting to sort of find a game that you wanted to run, seeing that there were like maybe nobody had run it before, maybe it was like one or two people that had kind of ran it earlier, and then like getting together with a couple other people and just grinding that game down to as low as you can get it. There's something like super satisfying about that.
It's almost addictive.
It is. Honestly. It really is.
I know with Soft Body specifically, we actually, myself and a friend of mine, Umario, we thought we were the only ones to actually try and speedrun the game, and then Umar found a random run someone did from like 2 years ago, right after the game was released. that was like way better than anything we had seen so
Oh,
far.
really?
And yeah,
That's crazy.
so it's always funny to run into that too.
It's like a vault of hidden knowledge that you stumbled
Right.
across.
Right.
That's amazing.
Because then you get the best of both worlds. You learn what you think is everything yourself, and then you find this whole wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, and then you
that's
can
already
start
there.
putting the puzzle pieces together, and
So yeah, it was super fun.
that is
to
super
cut
fun.
down my time even more based on that.
Yeah. So talking about soft body and stuff, have you ran it at any other marathons in the past, or?
Actually, yeah. So this summer, I actually ran both V6 and soft body at Tourathon too, the RIT
Oh, nice.
speedrunning club's marathon that
Okay.
they do at Tourathon. And
Very
then
nice.
I also ran soft body before that last year at SGDQ.
Okay. Excellent.
That was my kind of start to in-person marathons.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
a lot, but it was really exciting.
I was gonna say I could have sworn you ran it at SGDQ. Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience was like, having your first time running something at GDQ?
In a word, I was overwhelmed. I think I did really well for my first time, especially. Really proud of that run. I didn't plan out commentary at all. I had to pull friends on like
Yeah.
the day of and teach them the run.
Oh boy.
So it's not a great thing to put pressure on people like that, but they handled it really well too. I was impressed.
That's good. That's awesome.
And
It's
it seems like everyone had-
that can be kind of scary getting onto the big stage.
right, whether you're doing the run or whether
Not
you're
as
just
prepared as you'd like. Yeah. That's awesome that it all worked out. You'll
So
love to hear that.
Right. I know for the future, if I'm gonna have other commentators, I should plan in advance.
Yes.
It's definitely a piece of advice.
it's always a good idea. As much as maybe some people aren't as keen to preparing as others. Oh boy, this.
Each their own. Some can do things on the fly, kind of wing it.
Yeah,
pretty well.
yeah.
I'm sometimes one of those people, but
One of the, it's a lot harder than people would think getting people together to practice at GDQ as well.
oh yeah, just getting people together for anything at marathons can be a troubling
Yes,
experience. I've tried to have community meetups for races and stuff, and it's just days go by and you don't realize, and then it's the second to last day, and you're like, "Where are you all?
Exactly.
We need to do this."
It totally is.
But just makes it more exciting.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
whole week. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And that oh geez, I have a story about this SGDQ.
Yeah.
I was the backup runner for Slipstream Cannonball, the race
Right,
between
right,
Konosumi
yeah.
and Kelvin. And the first time that we got all three of us together to practice the run was like 5 hours before the run was.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Because every time, you're like trying to get people into the practice room. At one point, it was like Konosumi and I were in the practice room waiting for Kelvin, and he like went out to dinner and didn't come back for like 3 hours, and we were just sitting there the whole time, and it was a mess, but we pushed through. We made it.
Right. I don't know, it's rough. But yeah, marathons are just super fun like that.
They
There's
are.
always ways to get distracted and
Exactly.
find something to do.
It's super easy to get distracted. I imagine that will be the case at Fest this coming weekend, being at 2DCon.
I made myself super busy for the whole weekend. I'm really excited, but I'm a little nervous that I'll miss something or another. Because
Yeah.
I have the 2 runs,
Yep.
V6 soft body. I want to do the Mario Kart tournament and the Initial D tournament on
Okay,
Friday and
okay.
Saturday. And also have to find time to hang out with roommates and just a whole bunch of stuff.
It's your whole day is pretty much already planned out for
Oh, yeah.
you. That's one of the things I love about marathons, though, is that you always have something to do.
Oh yeah.
And then downtime, of course, is just filled in with standing around in circles talking about food.
You're
Um,
exactly right.
yeah, exactly. Uh, okay, so you got some tournaments going on as well.
Mhm.
Now might be a great time for me to plug that Gooby, Metro, and I are going to try to set up a Scotto tournament because we found out that they'll have Scotto
Oh
in the
yes, Snow
arcade.
Phoenix. They got a Scotto machine.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
really
I'm
good.
so excited. Oh my gosh, I played the crap out of Scotto this last year at SGDQ.
That's always for the past few events that I've been to that have had it. I've gotten to the last day and not touched it, and then played it and realized, oh, I should have been playing this all week.
I usually don't even go 2 hours after the arcade opens without touching that game. It's too good.
It's understandable.
I'm in like a super heated competition with Amerlin right now about who can
Oh
get the
yeah.
farthest on level up mode. I think we're both tied at like level 12 or level 13 right now. It's crazy. We got so good
It's
at that game by the end of the week.
it's rough. It's really, really difficult,
It
I'll
is
say, but
super hard, but super
I'm glad
fun.
to see. Yeah, I'm glad to see people have gotten more into it because 90% of the time you see people doing time attack.
Yeah, that's not as much fun.
It's the super exciting, like to watch, and
Yeah,
it's just a rush. But
it is. I keep my love out there goes to level up though,
oh yeah,
hands down.
I respect it.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about uh, your speedrunning history. Do you want to talk a little bit, maybe go a little bit more in depth about your V6 and soft body runs?
Yeah, like what the runs entail and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I can do that. Soft body is pretty straightforward. So the game is a two-dimensional kind of artful game
Yeah.
where you control two different characters at the same time. You do one with each thumb on a controller, or you can use the keyboard.
Okay.
And each character or worm basically has different powers. One manages a certain set of goals that you have to accomplish, and the other one accomplishes the other set. And
Okay.
you have to speedrun it, you kind of have to multitask all the time
Jeez.
and take care of different stuff with each hand and focus on two different things at once. It's a good time.
It's an intense run.
There's not a whole lot of glitches in the run.
Mhm.
In our old rule set, we had a couple ways to skip cutscenes, but now we just do that through the menu, so
Yeah.
it becomes irrelevant.
Okay.
There are a couple skips that the community has worked together on, like seconds here, like a single second here and there, and that adds up.
It adds up over time. Yeah, it definitely
It's one
does.
of those. It's one of those games where it's hard to get consistent full game runs, but the ILs you can go absolutely ham on, and they're insane to watch.
Okay.
I haven't put as much work into the ILs in that game, but I know
Mhm.
a couple people have. Germ, especially has done a few, and he's been really helpful for those minor time saves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's soft body. As for V6, a lot more of you are probably familiar with that one.
Oh yeah. Love that game so much.
The super classic 2D indie platformer, like kind of a genre definer for the indie platforming scene when
Oh,
it was
yeah.
released in 2010, I want to say.
Has it been that long
And
already?
It's
Oh
I
my
get it mixed
gosh.
up with Limbo because one is 2010 and one is 2011.
Yeah.
So it's one
Okay.
of the two. But yeah,
But still, that's
it's up there.
yeah. Crazy.
So basically it kind of takes one idea of the platformer and flips it on its head, no pun intended. Instead of a jump button, you have a flip button.
Yes.
So you can change gravity on a whim, but you can only do it when you're touching the ground or the ceiling.
Mhm.
And it's just, other than that, a pretty standard hardcore platformer. It's kind of open world, so you can do different levels in any order. We do the route that I'm doing, no out of bounds, does things in a specific order to skip one of the two intermission scenes, the Gravitron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which conveniently is probably the hardest part of the game for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The game's seen a lot of glitches and skips that have kind of revolutionized it and had us forced to create new categories.
Yes.
No out of bounds is actually fairly recent. It was originally called no telejumping, but then we discovered a glitch where you can go out of bounds without telejumping, which is this whole complicated glitch
Oh
that I
my
want to
gosh,
get into.
yeah.
So we found a way to do that. So we had to make no telejumping, which is kind of the standard category that most people learn. That and glitchless. We made that no out of bounds, and then we have a new no telejumping that includes that out of bounds.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that run so much. It's such a cool game, and the speed runs for it are always just craziness. I love it so much. I think a while back, I can't remember how long ago this was, but I believe I've helped get one of the like any percent glitched runs for V6 verified on Speed Demos Archive.
Wow.
I remember watching through it and being just blown away. I had to watch through it like a couple of times because the first time I like wasn't paying attention to like the technical aspect of the video, but I was just like enthralled by the speed run.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's so mesmerizing.
Cool coincidence.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
A couple of other things to note. Forgot the first thing, but I remember the second thing. So for the marathon next week, I'm actually going to be showing off a different route than most people do as well.
Okay.
Most people go to the space station first and rescue the red dude, Vermilion.
Vermilion, yes.
Yeah,
it
is Vermilion. But there is a different route you can do to save about 1 second, and it involves going to the tower first, which is the level probably most people recognize with the auto-scroller section. If you do that, you lose a little bit of time in dialogue, but you can teleport from your ship instead of going to the second area, which is the warp zone. So it saves 2 seconds overall, and it's just kind of something that most people aren't even aware of, and it's really fun to do. And
awesome.
It really costs you no time. I mean, it causes a few more resets, but it's overall not too bad.
It saves 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that's big in shorter runs, especially.
Right. So in a 12-minute run, you need every. It's
huge.
You can get.
Yeah, it's a huge save. Okay. So with these two runs, Soft Body and V6, what do you think? What's something that people should look out for in each of these runs? Like a really like super clutch moment or like a really hard trick in either of them? What are sort of like the staples of these runs?
I gotcha. For V6, honestly, it's kind of where the game lets up besides the post-chapter, like, 5-second cutscenes.
Okay.
It's hard to commentate because there's so much that you could say. There's so much tech that goes into the game, and the game is split up screen by screen, so you progress from one screen to the next. And on almost every screen, there's just several strats you can do that save like milliseconds each. So it's almost impossible to keep up with. But
yeah,
it's doable. It's not impossible, just almost.
Okay.
For Soft Body, I would say maybe not the most exciting parts to watch, but definitely to play are the bosses, because there's these super long levels where more stuff appears as you complete stuff. So it gets more tense as you go, like, oh, I've completed like 30 seconds of this level. Am I going to have to do it again?
Yeah.
I would say the first boss especially doesn't have that as much to a degree, but it has the only real boss of the game, which are these two snakes that you have to hit 3 times each.
Okay,
if you can do it in one try, you have to deal with snipers shooting at you as these snakes also move around the screen, and you have to track both of them and hit their weak point as they're spawning like concentric circles.
Oh my gosh.
So it's quite a lot to witness.
Yeah. Oh jeez. Okay.
Oh, there's one more. There's one level that only features one hand, but it also features the most bullets on screen in the game. It's about midway through Chapter 2. It's all black and
Okay.
white, and you just kind of weave back and forth between
Oh,
these
nice.
giant circles of bullets, while
Okay.
also getting sniped at, of course.
Of course, while also getting sniped at. It always
So,
has to be like that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Um, I also have a question regarding tricks or difficult sections of games. Um, in V6, is it pronounced Vini Vidi Vici or Weenie Weedy Wiki? What's your take on that?
I'm gonna go with. I can't say. My German roots aren't with me, so I gotta say Veni Vidi Vici.
Okay.
Just can't do it.
That's fair. You respect that. Yeah, so we'll look forward to those sections in those games, and I'm sure you'll shout them out when they come along again.
Oh yeah.
And of course, both of these games are pretty intense the whole time, so it's hard to pick out individual parts that might be a little bit more crazy than others, especially
Right.
V6. From what I understand, it's non-stop craziness the whole time.
Pretty much.
So besides those games, looking ahead to the future, do you have any other big ambitions in speedrunning? Any goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next couple of years? Any games that you're thinking about picking up?
It's a good question. Because as it's been so far, I've kind of just picked up games as I found them, like immediately.
Yeah.
But I have been less into speedrunning in the current moment because I've
Yeah.
been focusing on like rhythm and arcade games.
Okay.
That should change probably in the near future. I've found a couple games that really interest me, but I haven't attempted to speedrun
Okay.
for a while now. There's one called Jump Grid, and it's really interesting. It's very, very simple. You just move back and forth between a 3x3 grid and avoid obstacles that come at you from different directions
Okay.
and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a couple others, but that's a really good example of one.
Okay.
I will say, like, I felt the same way that I do about Jump Grid now, that I felt about Soft Body for a while.
Okay.
It's another super difficult game, and for a while I just thought, this is too hard to pick up as a speedrun. And then again, I mentioned my friend Umar. He finally got into it and did basically a speed walk to get it submitted to speedrun.com.
Okay,
and that
yeah.
finally was what motivated me to actually pick it up and get serious with it. And
Yeah.
I'm super glad I did, because it's taken me quite a ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure it helps that the game is just fun to play in general. That I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
like I
whole
said,
reason that you run games in the first place is.
The very first time that I played Soft Body, it took me about 6 or 7 hours to get through just the soft game, which is the easy part
Yeah.
of the game. And the last level specifically took me an hour, and now I can
Phew.
usually do it first try, just
Yeah.
figuring out good strats for it.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet.
So the same thing could happen with Jump Grid or with any of the other games that have caught my eye in the recent present.
Yeah, okay. I feel that. So looking ahead now to Midwest Speedfest again coming up this coming weekend, or 5 days away. Friday. It's coming up so quickly. Oh my gosh.
So soon.
Crazy. Are there any other runs in particular aside from yours that you are looking forward to catching this year?
The very first one that jumps to mind is Elmo's Letter Adventure.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Just top tier.
Oh, that morning. That's Saturday morning, right? That is taking place.
I want to say yes, because it was originally very close to Soft Body before it got moved.
Okay.
So I want to say it's Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning, alongside That's gonna be a fun morning. You've got that. You've got Hylix, which Flying Marlin played at SGDQ this summer. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
a crazy fun game.
I think I actually caught that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Familiar.
It's a good time. And then it's Elmo's Letter Adventures, and then I think We Fit is right after that
Oh,
with
yes.
Gooby and Metro.
That should be good too.
Oh, they ran all balance games at Midwinter Speed Sprinter this past winter.
I have to go back and catch that. If
Yes,
I'm able to
it's a
find
good
one.
time.
Oh my gosh.
It's awesome. Never before have I seen one, let alone two Wii balance boards being played on a marathon, like at the same time. It's
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
good it's a lot of fun. That's gonna be an awesome morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's Sunday morning. Pretty interested in the Sex Rex Variety Hour.
Yes.
Definitely caught my attention.
Everybody should be interested in the Sex Rex Variety Hour.
And then of course Slipstream.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure when Slipstream is though, off the top of my head.
That is 7 p.m. Friday night.
Okay.
Um,
Oh gosh.
yeah. Whew.
It'll be a long day Friday, will, because I fly in super early. I will be coming off a whole week of like super early shifts.
Yeah.
So
And then V6 is Friday early afternoon, and Friday's gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So switching gears a little bit, talking, outside of speedrunning, what are some other things that you do in your life for fun, or hobbies, things that take up your
Of
time?
course. I mentioned kind of earlier, I've gotten super into rhythm games as of late.
Okay.
I got into rhythm games and other arcade games to a lesser extent as a result of going to AGDQ and playing stuff there.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I joke about it sometimes, like it's kind of been ironic that I go to speedrunning events and get like progressively more interested in other things.
Yeah, right.
But then there is Initial D, which, I don't know, it runs along the same lines.
Initial D is fun. I'm
Oh,
not nearly as hardcore at it as a lot of people that show up to GDQs are.
There's definitely some people who go ham.
Yeah, oh, definitely. The Initial D is definitely always fun. Yeah. No, that's one of the things I love about, going to GDQs or other speedrunning events in general, is that it doesn't have to be about speedrunning the whole time.
Right.
There's plenty of room for like other activities, other games.
Yeah,
things like that.
A friend of mine, Fizz, put it best. People come to the event to watch games get played to completion and try to play completion.
Yeah.
That's a theoretical perfection or a literal perfection in the
Yeah.
case of rhythm games, usually.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
So it's great to see.
Okay. I will now open up for any questions from the chat. Chat, if you'd like to say anything, have any questions for V, hit us up. I do have a couple of recurring questions that I know are going to be asked at some point. Number one, and this is my question, one that I hold very near and dear to my heart. What are your thoughts on pesto?
Pesto is... That's too much of an inside joke. I can't do that. I like pesto on my pizza. That's my favorite.
Pesto on pizza,
That's what I'll
solid.
say.
Yes, pesto is.
For pizza.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Pesto is a top tier sauce. The number one top tier sauce in my humble opinion.
See, I used to work at a kind of fancy Italian restaurant, and
Oh,
we
yeah?
have this bruschetta that
Ooh, yeah.
is one of the best things I've ever tasted. Just brushed with pesto and then fresh vegetables.
Oh man, I'm
So
honestly,
I'm a fan of pesto. We'll say that.
okay. Some good. That's good to hear because I'm working on bringing pesto to Fest on Friday and like a baguette or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look forward to that. I'll try.
I've been growing a lot of basil lately, and I have a bunch of fresh basil that needs to get used somehow, and
It's
I think I'm
wonderful.
gonna whip up some
Wow.
pesto and bring it down to Fest. Um, so yeah, hopefully I can make that work. Pesto is the
All right.
besto. Um, Another question that chat usually likes to ask is, what is your biggest dream?
Ooh. That's yeah. I see. I see now. That's well. I'd say off the cuff right now, my biggest dream would be to have a living room arcade. That would
Oh,
just mean the world to me. I see a
that's a dream.
couple acquaintances that have expanded theirs. People with just tons of pinball machines, tons of rhythm games, tons of it's a beautiful thing whenever I
Yeah,
see it, and I love to have that same thing eventually.
that's an awesome
First, you have to
goal.
get a house, then you have to fill it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that leads up to it, but that's a solid goal. I love it.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah, awesome. Right, so I'm not seeing any other questions popping up in chat. Whoa, sorry, my phone just went flying.
Happens to me all the time.
Anyway, yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps up everything on my end. You have any closing words you'd like to say?
I suppose I'll just mention the times from my run specifically. I actually don't know them specifically.
I have them
but
written down, by the way,
perfect.
so I can I all right, if that's what you wanted to say, I got you covered.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so thank you once again for coming and doing this.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and again, thank you for coming to help out with Midwest Speedfest. It's really cool to see people coming from further away now to this event.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I hope to see the event expand even a little more in the future.
I do too. It'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you. And to chat, this has been a runner spotlight for Midwest Speedfest 2019 with V Input Output. And you can catch their runs 2 days. Friday we have V or V6 at was that 5?
Oh
Or
no.
was it? Okay.
No, you got it. You got
Okay,
it.
we're good. I was really nervous about that. V6 at about around 2:40 p.m. Friday afternoon, followed by Soft Body at about noon on Sunday. And those times, once again, are tentative, subject to change as the marathon progresses, and things will most likely happen to change the schedule a little bit.
As they
Yeah.
do, as they always do.
Yeah, once again, thank you very much for joining me in this spotlight tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and hope you have a good rest of your day, and hope chat you have a good rest of your day. And yeah,
Night, everyone.
good night.